back to the deep dive. Today we're zeroing in on a really specific source. It's a detailed forecast for October 2025, just for the Cancer sign.
Right.
Think of this as your shortcut, basically, to understanding the month's big challenges and, the opportunities too, where ambition and emotion kind of collide.
And that collision, ambition versus emotion, that's really the heart of it, isn't it? The source material is, surprisingly direct. It says October demands balance.
A conscious balance.
Exactly. So our mission here is to pull out the practical, actionable stuff you need to navigate this tug of war. You've got this deep pull towards home and family.
Which is classic Cancer territory.
Totally. But then, boom, there are these really strong career opportunities popping up, and the source is clear. If you don't manage that tension, those opportunities might just fizzle out.
Right, so it's like a roadmap, almost. We're going to look closely at 3 areas where this whole balancing act gets tested. First up, money. How to keep things stable, but still grab those income chances. Second, relationships. The forecast actually predicts some shifts there, like harmony early on, then maybe some tension.
We'll get into that specific timeline, yeah.
And finally, health. A really crucial warning there about protecting your energy, which ties everything together. Okay, so let's dig into this core conflict first, this ambition versus emotion thing.
Yeah, the forecast really paints October 2025 as an active month, not one for just sitting back. You have to make decisions.
Right.
And what's interesting is how clearly it flags up this dual focus, home and career. Both are demanding your attention, equally.
Which, for Cancer, often leans more towards the home, the feelings. Having such strong career pull must feel like a big shift, right? Mentally.
A major shift in, let's say, psychological resources, where you put your focus, your energy.
Okay, but here's the really interesting part for me. The source doesn't just say survive this push-pull.
Yeah.
It actually promises great success if you handle it well.
That's the potential upside, definitely.
But it all hangs on setting and sticking to priorities. How does the source suggest you actually define those? Because, if both home and career are shouting for attention, just saying balance them, that feels impossible.
It does sound vague, but the source hints that defining them comes from looking at your long-term security goals. Something Cancer is usually quite focused on.
Okay.
Security.
Yeah. It's less about juggling separate lists and maybe more about sequencing things. For example, the source suggests maybe getting things stable and calm at home early in the month.
Okay.
That then gives you the foundation, the emotional bandwidth maybe to really push on career stuff later in the month.
So it's not reacting, it's planning the sequence.
Exactly. The failure point seems to be letting emotions run wild and mess up work, or the other way around, letting work totally drain you so there's nothing left for home. Being deliberate, that's the word.
Deliberate sequencing, I like that. Okay, so if we connect that deliberate approach to the practical stuff, finances, you said the forecast starts stable. That sounds like a good buffer. A huge psychological buffer. Yeah. The baseline described is stable. That's really good news. It means you're probably not starting October in crisis mode, scrambling for cash.
Which frees up mental energy.
Precisely. Gives you the freedom to think strategically about growth, not just survival.
Okay, stability is the foundation. What about the growth? You mentioned wins might not be from the main job, more like side things.
Exactly that. The income opportunities it points to are specifically from side projects or maybe taking on extra work.
Okay.
And the source uses the phrase nice income, which suggests it's, potentially quite worthwhile, not just pennies.
Right, significant.
Yeah, so if you've had an idea simmering, a bit of consulting, an extra contract, maybe turning a hobby into something profitable, October looks like the time to actually, go for it. The energy supports those kinds of side efforts.
But hang on, if you're activating side projects and juggling this intense home family focus, isn't there a risk there? You're stretched then, maybe make a mistake and put that very financial stability in jeopardy.
That is exactly where the big financial warning comes in. You're right, being distracted absolutely increases risk.
Okay.
The source really hammers this point. Be incredibly smart with spending, and it explicitly says avoid risky deals or unclear investments. Full stop.
Why that specific warning now?
Well, think about it. If you're emotionally tired from juggling everything, your judgment can get fuzzy, right?
It makes sense.
Risky deals can look tempting when you're feeling desperate or maybe even overconfident because things are going well elsewhere. Both moods are possible here. So the source is basically shouting, don't gamble, protect that stable base.
Got it. So the stable foundation isn't just nice to have, it's a resource to actively defend. Avoid the get-rich-quick stuff. Focus on the side work that's more predictable.
Exactly. Focus on things where the return is good for the effort, but they aren't overly complex or need constant watching, because you just won't have the bandwidth for that kind of high-risk management this month.
Okay, that really clarifies the financial side, which leads us straight into the emotional core relationships. For Cancer, feelings are central. So this part of the forecast, with its timeline, that seems super useful.
Yeah, having a timeline helps you be proactive, not reactive.
So break it down. How does the month start on the relationship front?
It starts really well, actually. The prediction is pretty positive. Harmony, stability, good understanding with a partner or maybe close family, which ties back to that sequencing idea, right? It suggests you begin October with your emotional tank feeling pretty full.
That's a good start. What about singles? Did the source mention anything for them? Something about shared values?
It did, yeah. For single Cancers, there's a possibility of meeting someone who really connects on a deeper level, someone who shares their values.
So not just surface attraction.
Right. It's pointing towards connection built on maybe intellectual or emotional alignment, something solid. The advice seems to be, look for people involved in things that genuinely matter to you.
Okay, that sounds promising. But we know this harmony isn't the whole story. There's a warning about mid-month tension, a dip. What causes that? Is it external trauma or more like internal stress boiling over?
The signs point towards internal. It seems like a symptom of that fatigue, that imbalance we keep talking about.
Right. The juggling act catching up.
Yeah. The oversensitivity it mentions likely comes from feeling stretched thin emotionally. When you feel vulnerable because maybe work is demanding so much, it can come out as irritability or misreading situations or maybe getting defensive at home.
So the career focus takes energy out, and mid-month, the home front starts feeling that lack.
That seems to be the dynamic the source is flagging, yes.
Okay, that's a crucial distinction. The tension is a signal, not necessarily a fundamental problem in the relationship itself. And thankfully, the source gives us a solution right.
It does, and it's optimistic actually. It stresses that honest conversations will fix that quickly.
Quickly.
Yeah, it implies the conflict doesn't need to drag on. It just needs communication. It reinforces the idea that the root issue is probably misunderstood needs or maybe just scheduling clashes, not some deep emotional rift.
Let's cause on that honest conversation tool. What does that actually mean in this context? Does the source give any hints? Is it just saying sorry for being busy?
It seems deeper than just an apology. Honest conversation here seems to mean vulnerability.
Okay.
It means clearly explaining the pressures you're under, talking about the specific career goals you're chasing, admitting the strain it's causing, but then also, crucially, reaffirming your commitment to the relationship.
So bringing your partner or family into the loop, making them part of the strategy for the month, not just observers.
Exactly. So they understand why you might seem preoccupied or a bit edgy. That shared understanding is what eases the friction.
That completely reframes it. Mid-month tension isn't a crisis. It's a moment to actually strengthen the connection through honesty. Okay.
Right.
Now, all this, the ambition, the money focus, the relationship work, it sounds exhausting. Which brings us to health.
Yep, and the health forecast loops right back to that core theme balance, or potentially the lack of it.
And the warnings.
Simple but critical, watch out for stress. The source is basically giving you a heads up that your energy account is likely to be seriously overdrawn if you don't take preventative steps.
Because of the juggling act.
Exactly, that's the primary drain. Home demands, career push, financial vigilance, it all takes energy.
And this isn't just generic advice like relax more, right? It sounds targeted.
It is. It's entirely focused on preventative measures, not waiting until you're burnt out and then trying to recover. If you wait till you feel exhausted, the source implies you've already sort of lost ground.
So prevention is key. What are the specific actions the source recommends?
Okay, number one, genuinely making time for rest, prioritizing good sleep. That's like non-negotiable maintenance.
Okay. Physical and mental.
Both. Second, integrating light activities. Notice the emphasis on light. This isn't the month to suddenly start training for a marathon.
Right. It's about maintenance, not peak performance.
Precisely. And it even gives examples.
Yeah, like what?
It mentions things like just walking or meditation can make a huge difference.
Simple stuff.
Really simple, low energy cost activities. But they act as buffers. They protect and help restore your energy. If you ignore this, the implication is that the exhaustion will cloud your judgment.
Sabotaging the career stuff.
And the relationships. simultaneously. Health is basically the pin holding the whole structure together this month.
Okay, so pulling this all together, it's a dynamic month, lots of potential, lots of demands. What are the absolute key takeaways for someone listening?
Synthesizing it all. October 2025 for Cancer looks like it has strong love and family vibes, definitely, but also real potential for lucrative career wins.
High opportunity, high demand.
Exactly. But it requires vigilance, real internal management. That's the make or break factor.
Which brings us to the most important point for you, the listener. Your success hinges on maintaining that balance and consciously, deliberately working to protect your energy.
Yeah. Treat your energy like you're treating that stable financial base. Defend it because it fuels everything else, the clear thinking for investments, the patience for those honest conversations.
And if you manage that, the competing forces, the warnings about stress and risky deals.
If you manage it, the forecast suggests that approaching the month step by step, well, it could open the door to something new and meaningful. That's the potential reward.
Something new and beautiful. That's a powerful outcome.
So maybe one final thought, provocative question for you to mull over right now.
Okay.
Given everything we've discussed, the opportunities, the specific warnings like avoiding risky investments, committing to those mid-month talks, what single step, what one priority could you define for yourself today?
Right now.
What's the one non-negotiable thing you'll do to make sure October opens that new and meaningful door for you instead of slamming it shut through burnout? How are you going to protect your energy account? Define that one step now.
That single conscious step could be your key to navigating October successfully. Thanks for diving deep into the sources with us today.
See you next time.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.